Hello everyone, and welcome to today's information session. Today I'm joined by Stephen Kernan and Benjamin Brooks, or Steve and Ben. We have a little bit of, I guess, agenda and admin before I hand over, so I'll go over that now. Our agenda today, we're basically just going to be working through a short presentation, an opportunity to get some information before opening up to a bit of a Q&A towards the end of the session. When it comes to Q&A, all you need to do is just jump down on the bottom of your screens. You'll hopefully see a little Q&A symbol there. Jump on in and ask any questions you'd like. Myself and my colleague Eva will be monitoring that one. So we'll either answer the questions live, or if we can, we'll answer the questions directly through that Q&A in there. Aside from that, let's get started. Steve and Ben, over to you.
Hey everyone, I'll go first. My name's Steve Kernan, and just briefly, I guess we should provide a quick overview of why we're actually teaching this. So obviously I've got an interest in it, but my background's also in industry. So I spent a few years working within organisational resilience roles, specifically in health and also critical infrastructure. And I'll let Ben just give you a quick background on his professional experience as well.
Yeah, g'day folks. Ben Brooks from, I've actually worked within the Australian Maritime College, part of the university. Professional background is in safety and risk management, but then 15 years or so working in research with industry and government around emergency and crisis management as well. So that's me. A PhD in human factors psychology as a background.
Oh yeah, I've got a PhD as well in sort of emergency management stuff. Okay, I've got one of those.
Oh, we all got PhDs these days, Steve. So it's all right.
I guess the key for you guys, if you're listening on, is with regards to, even though we've got the industry experience, our academic experience, and especially that research, is actually really around organisational resilience. For the last 8 years, we've been conducting research, looking how to enhance human capability in high consequence environments. So that's really around crisis management, but also how that fits into broader organisational resilience. And a lot of our research for 8 years has spanned all sectors. So we work with the public sector, so especially the emergency services, but also the private sector, from multiple different elements through critical infrastructure to healthcare, but also in the non-for-profit sector, working for some large NGOs, because obviously human capability in the context of crisis management is applicable across all sectors. So I guess that's the research and why our interest is in this field. And a lot of the research we use in the best practice we find theoretically, we're actually embedded into this course as well. Anything else to add there, Ben?
Oh, just that I think so. What do we know about organisational resilience? Well, what our research does is actually look to embed improvements in organisational resilience in organisations. And so, for instance, the stuff we're doing around creativity is about improving the human capability of organisations and making them more resilient. And so that's I know sometimes research can seem a bit esoteric, but the point of our research is to actually lead to improvements in outcomes for organisations, right?
Yeah, cool. Next slide, Ethan. So I guess this is an important question, either for you if you're trying to get some money out of your boss to fund it, or vice versa if you're the manager and you've got someone else coming to you. I'd like to think that if you're attending this, you understand the importance of organisational resilience, and especially, last year with the bushfires on the southeast and now the pandemic. But I guess when we were chatting about this earlier, I think one of the important things is why we actually developed this. And as we've said in the website, it's not something we did on a whim 3 months ago because of everything what was going on. We've actually been doing this for 1.5 years and in the planning stage. But I guess why we determined to develop this course was through industry. Industry asked us, doing some research, if we ever taught any courses on crisis management and human capability, and the quick answer was no, we didn't. And then when we asked other people, said, oh, do you reckon it would be a good idea? They said, yeah, but I think it's bigger than that. What about business continuity? Then when we got down to it, it was actually about organisational resilience. So I think the reason we're doing it is because there's an industry need for it. And there's a key reason that emergency management isn't in this, because it is a little bit different, even though emergency management's a part of organisational resilience, because there's quite a lot of post-grad emergency and disaster management courses in Australia, and there's no other organisational resilient courses. That's why we kept it a little bit separate. Is that right, Ben? I thought you were an expert at Zoom. Your mute's on.
It had to happen eventually. Yes, absolutely. No, I think you're spot on. That's exactly why.
So I guess applicability, there's a couple of what we looked at when we liaised with industry, was there's the people who already work within organisational resilience roles, and whether that's in risk or whether it's in crisis management, emergency management, business continuity, protective security, whatever, or cyber, whatever the element is, a lot of them wanted a need. So they were after really some formal sort of qualification to actually demonstrate to, I guess, not compensate, but add in to their actual industry experience. Then the other side of people is people who are interested in pursuing a career in organisational resilience and want some sort of formal tertiary qualification. So they're probably the two people this course is aimed at.
Yep, and I would add to that, Steve, then one of the things that we've looked to do as we craft the learning resources for this course is to recognise that both those categories of people are going to be in the room. And so we've made then some flexibility around assessment tasks and some graduated learning resources to acknowledge that there are going to be people who are starting out in this space. There are going to be people who are seeking a formal qualification and are very experienced in this space. And we're looking to accommodate all of those people in the room.
Thanks, man. Ethan, next slide, please. So as I'm sure many of you are seeing, is obviously how we actually developed it. We talked a little bit there. This has been a real collaboration with industry, which is great for us because our research is in that field and we work in a few different advisory groups with industry. So we could bounce ideas off multiple different sectors to see if we were on the money with this sort of stuff. So I guess that's the key thing, is we developed it based on industry feedback. And the reason, the importance about it is that, really, like Ben said, the assessment tasks, so you can assess the organisation resilience of your own organisation wherever you're working, or potentially future organisations where you may work, through meaningful assessments. So even though there's the theoretical element in there, it should be a tangible output that you can apply to your workplace as well.
Yep, I agree with that, Steve. But what does it mean to have collaborated with industry on this grad cert? Because I think it can be a bit of a throwaway line. What we did was we went to the people that we know in industry, and we said things to them like, what do you need from a graduate? What if they come out and they've been able to produce this set of evidence? Is that enough for you? Or what do you want to see from these people in terms of their capability when they come into your organisation? What is it that you want to teach them in your organisation? What do they need to actually come prepared with? And that's been an iterative process that we've gone through with every unit in the grad cert.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for that, mate. And I guess it's also about, I mean, some of the stuff that industry said to us was, we can teach someone how to do the practical element of it, but we want them to have the understanding of what it means to be a practitioner in resilience, and therefore the theory behind it. So it's not just doing something, it's understanding why they're doing it as well. So that was a big takeout for us when we talk to the guys in industry, and we're talking all the time. I think they're a bit sick of us by now, but hopefully they'll get the return on investment when they have people complete the course. With regards to the practitioner insights, this was something Ben and I were very conscious of, doing online courses. And by the end of this, you'll probably be sick of listening to us. So we were very conscious that a lot of people don't want to listen to someone in academia who witter on for 2 hours every week. And so I think with the way we've developed the online unit is there's a lot of information, written information there, interactive videos that you can watch. But some of the key, I guess, the elements of gold is actually from people working in the field. And so we did away with academic traditional lectures and went with practitioner insights, as we think that's a lot more valuable. And it's been great for us dealing, engaging with a lot of colleagues we've worked with in research and worked with in industry to capture their insights. And that's from, we've got executive managers from ASX 20 listed companies to smaller businesses across multiple sectors, whether that's in federal government, state government, also non-for-profit organisations, and also as well consultants, both local consultants within Australia and those working for multinational areas. So I guess I think everybody from the practitioner insights perspective, who's different every week, will still, the applicability is across all sectors. And so I think it really adds value when we talk about some of the theory of what an organisational resilience and the different 4 units, is they're just sort of explaining how they've done it in their industry and some of the challenges. So when we give this back, when we said this to industry, they were quite keen and thought it was a good idea. So, yeah.
Yep. And if you think about it, Steve, and I mean, I don't think we've got anyone on that list that isn't sort of 10, 15, 20 years plus in the industry. And so by the time you get a stack of those in each unit, you're getting hundreds of years of expertise embedded in the course around insights on key modules. So, whether it's crisis communications or whether it's about how to manage effective partnerships to promote organisational resilience. It's someone who has been thinking about and focusing on that stuff and is recognised by us as a leader in that area.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And also, not just recognised by us as a leader in the field, but by industry peers. So the people we engaged with, we were saying, who will be good to talk about this? Who's good to talk about this? So it was real industry feedback as well. We knew a lot of the people, but I think there's a big benefit. With regards to, obviously it's fully online. This was something, again, we talked with industry about, and they were quite keen. Obviously, the majority of people who, if you're out there today, are probably working or at least working part or full-time. And one of the requirements was to have it fully online, and especially in COVID with everybody working from home and remotely. I guess we've made the courses interactive as possible, but the beauty about online for you is that, obviously you can study it at your own pace. It's quite a, I guess, student focused in that respect. It's not like every week we want you to do this. We'll release the content every week. We do it in blocks of like 4-week blocks. So if you're on holiday and you want to read through it all in a couple of weeks, that's gold. But if you've got something else on at work and you're busy, you can catch up another time. So, you're all adult learners, so we've made it as flexible as possible.
I think the other thing to say about that, though, Steve, is also that it's not like there's going to be some faceless postgrad running this course. This is going to be run by myself and Steve, so you are going to actually have to put up with us, but that also means that you're going to be able to be in contact with us if you need anything in this course, because we will be co-teaching all of the units.
Thanks for that, mate. Ethan, on the slide, please. So as you might have seen on the website, there's 4 units within here, and there's just different levels. So 2 500, so lead and resilient organisations and crisis management, and 2 level 600, so protective security and business continuity management. I can talk to some of those courses, I guess some of the units, but a lot of them I mentioned earlier about, the majority of people working as practitioners of organisational resilience in sort of these fields. And again, I've explained why we've not included immersive management on this. One question that a couple of industry colleagues have said to us is, have we not got a unit on risk management, which is a really fair question. And I guess to answer that is, because risk is a core component of organisational resilience, it's actually embedded across all 4 units. And in addition, there's quite a few postgrad courses in risk. So we didn't want to, this was the example we gave to industry, and when we received feedback, they were like, yeah, that's a fair point, that because it's, it's involved in about organisational resilience, crisis management and protect security and BC, that it's embedded within there. Do you want to comment on that, Ben?
Oh, no, other than to say, yep, that's right, Steve. And the same for just standard management processes that we see in ISO standards. So that, including verification, for example, of processes and outcomes. It's a standard component of a management system, and so it's embedded across crisis management and leading resilient organisations. The other point about that then that flows on from that is that where possible, where there are international and national standards, those have been incorporated into the learning resources, so people have a good understanding of what the standards are around this particular topic.
Thanks, Mike. And then a quick one on there, because it talks about non-award short courses. I had to learn what this was, but I know now. So basically, you can, traditionally in universities, you have to do the whole course, where now they don't do that. You see, if you've just got an interest in crisis management, then you can just do that unit. And ironically, it was a colleague who we'd done research with, who works for a multinational gas and oil company, who came to us and said, can I just do, have you done anything on crisis management? So we're guessing he might do that. However, obviously, we'd love you to be on the entire journey and do the whole grad cert with us. And another question from a colleague out west at the moment who's in lockdown, he asked us if there's any sort of pathway with this. And at the moment, just to give you a heads up, we're currently talking with the College of Business and Economics. So they're developing a master's and MBA executive, and this will be applicable in the future at a later date when it's gone through all the laborious university protocols. But then it will be actually a specialisation in organisational resilience. So this was especially when we engaged with practitioners at that executive level, and they were interested to see where their staff were going or where they were going. They were clear that it was a pathway to some sort of higher ed course in an MBA. So yeah, so basically it will be an MBA executive with a specialisation in organisation resilience. So there is, in the future, there will be a pathway. It doesn't just stop here. All right, Ethan, next slide, please. Yeah, I'm going to hand over to Ethan because it's absolutely, I know very little about this.
I'll take over from here for just a little minute. Excellent. So for those of you that are obviously keen to apply, steps are pretty straightforward. We have our next intake, which is on semester 1, the 22nd of February. Applications will remain open, as you can see there, until the 19th. All you need to do is visit the utas.edu.au/admissions, start submitting your application, upload any supporting documentation, and our assessors will get back to you as soon as possible. The course is also eligible for a fee help loan. You can find a little bit more information on the Study Assist Government Australian Government website as well if you'd like to visit.